Shalom, family. Lord be to God, and blessed be the Lamb. Let's talk about the children. In one city, 50 children can go missing in 1 month. 50. I mean, this is just common in the United States. And where are the investigators? And when it first came out about Pizzagate, for those of you who don't know, Pizzagate was this guy saying that in some pizzeria in New York, I think, I said I think, they found out that a pedophilic ring was being operated that involved, out of this pizzeria, that involved very powerful people. And everybody called it conspiracy. Conspiracy. I'm going to tell you something about man. Then we started seeing the mermaids. Then we started seeing them wash up on the beach. No conspiracy. Man does not know how to make that kind of stuff up out of his own head. It is an impossibility. Man's brain must have a reference point. His brain is built that way. He must have something he can relate it to. If he cannot do that, it may as well be brand new, and it will never form in his mind. Why do you think that they can't bring you any new monsters? What we had, zombies? Now they just making up. If the man said he seen Bigfoot, he seen Bigfoot. The first man who has seen him did not come up with some 10-foot tall creature, hairy all over, with man-like other qualities, but with ape-like mobility. It would never occur inside of his mind to create such a thing in his mind. Anyway, 50 a day. I mean a month. Time 50. What do you think these children are going to? It's Saturday. Worship requires literal child sacrifice. Period. Some of the cultures that they hail from thousands and thousands of years ago, those children are not looked upon as the children from the beginning. From the beginning. Okay? Children are born just for that sexual purpose. Imagine that. This is what you have going on this planet, and you ignore it. Where is the government in all of this? It should be alarming, but I can tell you it ain't going to be nice, and the police is going to be more concerned about me and what's coming afterwards than they are, this perpetrator. If I find them first. At any rate, people, I keep saying, connect the dots. They don't want to release any names about anything. And this is global. This isn't just in the United States. This is global. This is why I said, if you pull the right string, you're going to undo the world. It's going to come under his mind on TV. Then let him lose his mind on TV. Once he figured out he won't do this no more. But he wouldn't stop. And he kept bringing up this global pedophilic ring. And we're starting to get more and more and more evidence. They just arrested this guy who works for Israeli Intel, I think in Florida. I mean, they just seen another guy in full religious garb. Y'all gonna get killed. Keep giving yourself up, man. Y'all gonna make this easy. Rounding you up is gonna call the police, and no one whooped his ass. In a public store. He just gets to walk away. He just gets to walk away. But look at the societal reaction to it. They caught him. No police were called. They told him to get out. Now beat his ass into a pulp. Why? I mean, why not? Because if you'd have caught a black man doing it, that's what you would have done. If you'd have caught a white man doing it, that's what you would have done. If you'd have caught a Muslim, a Buddhist, a Confucian, and other guys say, yeah, I've been watching him several minutes. This is a pedophile that religiously calls himself a practitioner of Zionism. And we know it's them. We just I don't want this to become some diatribe about them people, but you, when you acting like a bloodhound, you got to follow the scent. I'm just following the scent. We just watch these same people march in pro. You talking about baked right up into the potato. That cheese is stuck in there deep. We don't even know how you did it. Yes, we do. Because it's cultural. It's cultural. And all the while this happening, they are trying to do everything they can within their power, and which is a huge lot of power, folks, to make it where you don't never know. TikTok now has come out with new rules. Rule number 1, you cannot criticize out there because I would like to know. We can we just have a list of the shit that are the subsets and sets of America and seemingly internationally when you come to them people that we can't say anything about? America, you're going to end up at war. Ain't no America left. You can't criticize your politicians on a social platform? Wow. Let me tell you why. First, they said that you can't criticize them, but you by the thousands of them, by the thousands. And hold on, they would trip and fall up, man. It comes all the way down into the mayor and a city council level, and works its way up to the federal level, including Houston, where I'm at right now. They're even here. And they are sacrificing children. They are snatching children off the street. And where are the police department? Tell you again, once you remove Generation X, it was over. And they removed Generation X because they were afraid of us. Afraid of us. They didn't like our music. They didn't like how we thought. They didn't like our movies. They didn't like nothing about us because we're nothing like them. And this is across the board generationally. These people are different. These people are totally different. And all the radio stations, we just woke up one morning and everything was gone. Everything that generation, enough life, not left, not to give a damn. Perfect. At any rate, all these children are missing. Across the world, actually. Let's focus on the United States. When did all this start? It's been going on. It's just that now the internet is so wide open and we can collect and compile data. We can disseminate it across city lines and state lines, which is what your media ought to be doing. But they're not doing it. Why? Why ain't some to the level of outright cannibalism in this country, at the very least, on a ritualistic level, right now in the United States? Right now. Right now. and you will go after anyone who says something because it's the truth. Anyway, look at your government. You think that they're not involved? Do you really think that you can turn? They got photographs of them, video of them in very lewd situations, lascivious, immoral, with children and with people of the same sex that they don't want you to know about because they've passed themselves off to you as wholesome individuals, wholesome, family oriented. And they're none of that. This the lie that they told you, almost without fail, every last one of them. I think it was a black thing. No, I'm pretty much fucking sure in the last 10, 12 years, it's nationwide. They're all acting weirded out. At any rate, we may or may not get to that shit next week. It's something I really don't want to encroach on. But like I say, you must have the truth. If the world wants to understand who they bombing and why the people who have made themselves their enemy, then they need to understand. At some point, it's just kind of weirded out around here, man. I would dare tell you, outside of the nuclear bombs and the money, just don't take them seriously. Just ignore them. Don't, and at least 20% of this country outright hates it. It's hedonistic. Heathens. Heathens. Period. Heathens with money, heathens with jobs, heathens with food, heathens with bombs, but nothing changes. Heathen. It's in their behavior. It's what the Holy Quran would refer to as infidels, straight up infidels. There's simply nothing they won't do. Now, that's not unique to America. There's been plenty that they say openly, everything is transactional. Well, you know what? You get your transactional ass the fuck up. I mean, because I'm not transactional. And if I was, you don't have enough. Not morally. You just don't have it. I mean, so if you live in a transactional society, even down to their bodies and their relationships, it's nothing. And everybody knows it. Everybody knows it. Yet you keep wanting to look at yourselves as something otherwise. You say it out your own mouth to be right. It's one of the problems here. What that all adds up to is there ain't no real love. Nothing is done out of love. Nothing is done out of I give a damn. See? And if you spread this culturally in this transactional society, you wind up with no love at all. And may I proffer, where there is no love, there is hate. Something fills the vacuum. Something fills the vacuum, but that's neither here or there. It's really wanted Generation X gone. So they removed Generation X because they were afraid of us. Period. The government, the police, everything, everybody and everything that control you now was afraid of us. We were the topic in Senate hearings, congressional hearings. They had formed committees. What are we going to do with these? These are uncontrollable. Uncontrollable. They want what they want. They believe in the Constitution. They believe in the government and in music. That's a fact. That's something new. It's because it doesn't reflect reality. It has begun to create reality. Anyway, 50 a month, one city alone, and the media isn't advertising it. There's no social studies trying to make the public aware. You notice this, right? thousands of missing a year, and no public awareness put forth by your government at all. And they saved a child like a grown woman in full makeup, eyelashes, skimpy dress, and march her 7-year-old ass down the stage. Six-year ass up and down the stage, looking like a grown ass woman in high heels. I seen it with my own eyes. And when something was said, the women who engage in this activity, which are nothing but predators, these are predators. You would never naturally or normally rob a child. Well, these are just fashion pageants. And no, you are a predator. Okay? You earlier about the gods that they worship. Moloch. He requires human sacrifice, not just any human sacrifice. He just wants the living humans to act hedonistic, straight up hedonistic. Do anything to everybody as much as you can all the time. It's bad. In Rome, they had open air sex markets. Okay? In Rome, open air. Hold on. Just as they had open air eateries with big ass tables, fathers and mothers and grandfathers and so forth and so on were bad people. No, because the bad folk who raised them ain't gonna tell them all of the bad stuff that they do and how the rest of society see it until later in life, after they done taught them how to love them. I call it free love, especially when it's coming from children. Unearned love, auto respect, unearned and auto respect, for no other reason than, anyway, you know where I was going with that. But we're gonna wrap this here up quickly. People to the beginning of everything, the anti-man hate, toxic masculinity. This started actually in the 80s with the shows like daytime talk shows like Sally Jesse Raphael. Let's start right there. This woman has a talk show. Of all the things that they can be talking about, she talks about her personal issues with her family, and it took over the show. It became madness. Her two boys and little boys in another room with organized play sets. When they came back, the little girls is playing teapot party or something, laying there with their imaginary friends and little teacups out and all this stuff here. They go to the boys' room, and the boys have tore it up and tried to rebuild their own shit. They done put a fake tent over here, ripped the cushions off the couch to be used in the building of the fort. And they looked at that like, you see, I told you, that's dangerous, right? That is the beginning of masculinity. They want to change everything around them. I'm not making 1990. Don't go no further than that though, because she started going sideways. They had introduced several deadly things into the environment by that point. But look at the men and women of the 60s and 70s, and you're going to see something distinctly different. First, you're going to see their size. Their normal build and size was at least 30% bigger than what we are now. Go see for yourself. So we've been downsized. And around. One of them is going to lose their life. I hate to do it to you, but better you than me. But they're not making this up, folks. This stuff is real. Very real. So, righteous men, sometimes righteous men have to do unrighteous things. That's a fact. You're going to get your hands dirty. You're going to get your hands dirty and bloody. And there's no way out of this either. It's not. This happened on your watch. At the end of the day, there's really no to the lifestyle at hand. You're going to have problems. If you give them power, as you did here, then they're going to first attempt to indoctrinate your children, because indoctrination doesn't work against adults because because their brains and their thought processes, perspectives are already set. But with children, they can tell them anything, and they do. So you allowed a whole generation of teachers bent, all of them pedophiles, cis indoctrination. Enjoy the rest of your morning. If you can. America is a walking horror show at this point. It's a place where it's Halloween every day. And I think the rest of the world should understand this. Take that into any considerations that you may be having. It's not itself. It hasn't been itself in 25 years at least. At least. Easy. What we're seeing now is some weird reflection of what would be the mayor. He can always use a few bucks. How about the senators? $50,000-$60,000 every other month or so. Nothing. I'm a billionaire, you know. How old is she? Well, how about the senators? Sir, you up in my personal business now. Do you want to make the transaction or not? Has she been touched? Dude, your fucking ass is under arrest. I gave you every way out possible. You lucky I don't shoot you in the face right now. If she wasn't just sitting there to see your brain splat on along the way and said, man, are you going with us? Where? All of the children are leaving Mexico. All of the children. Gather your little brother and follow us. What? And the United States takes them in. Nobody knows where those children are today. They're still looking for them, spending millions and millions of dollars acting like they're looking for them when they already know where they at. Okay? They are either dead or in a bad way. And